Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is Princess Bard. Hello. It's my art stream. The zombie apocalypse is happening outside, but we're still drawing. We're drawing Spider Gwen because, it just makes sense, right? Like, zombies roaming the land. You draw. You draw fan art. That's what happens. That's what happens during the zombie apocalypse. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all having a great Wednesday. Better than some of the people caught in the crowds running from the undead. No, how's it, everybody? How's everybody doing? Um, I did get to put a little bit of work into this afterwards, but just ever so slightly a little bit more. As you can see, I kind of started working on the background a little bit, and I added some stuff here. Like I already kind of know where this one's going. Like the lighting is actually mostly from the moon in the background, right? And that's pretty high in the sky. So what happens is it's gonna cast a pretty big shadow. So there we go. There's a shadow, right? The problem though is I'm gonna have to change certain colors, like on Miles over here. The red on his spider is a little bit too bright because it's not hiding in the it's not hidden by the shadow, but it's okay, it's okay. But the shadow is kind of like it's kind of like a brownish orange type of color. It's a little bit warmer as a shadow because like I want the warmer lights to be below, like all the warmer colors to be below, because the cool colors from the sky are gonna be what illuminates her. So then I kind of created a layer where I was kind of messing around with what I was gonna do. It's this layer over here. So I picked kind of like a cool blue type of color to add to the scene to kind of like show where the lighting is gonna be, right? So like just to add a little bit more over here. So it has like a slightly blue tint to it, but that's okay. That's okay, because the moonlight is not really that bright to begin with. And then we're just gonna kind of go up and down the character and then figure out the lighting first. Because I do this first. I know most people would probably go in order and just do like shading and adding volume to the muscles and things like that, right? But I actually work better when I do the lighting first, right? Because if I do the lighting like this first and I figure it out, then everything else kind of falls into place for me, right? Like I know what the volumes are gonna be and where they're gonna be and things like that. So we're gonna do this. What's up, Golden? How you doing? Thanks for the lurk. Super appreciated. Avoid those zombies if you can, by the way. You know? I know they always going for the brains, if you believe in the Night of the Return of the Living Dead ones. But, it's okay. You can outsmart them. As long as they're not smart themselves. Just don't let them get don't let them get a hold of a comm situation, right? Like you don't want them calling for more cops to come, because that's exactly what they want. No, Miss, what's going on? How you doing? No problem. Good. I'm good. Just chilling, making some music. Oh yeah, nice. I've never been able to make music. I'm not the most musically inclined in my family. I did try to learn to play piano when I was little. That didn't go very well though. Unfortunately, I was not ambidextrous enough to do it. I know you don't technically need to be, but yeah, I had a lot of problems trying to play both sides of everything. So, but that's cool, like you do what's fun, right? Meanwhile, we're just trying to figure out this situation right here, you know? Maybe this is going a little bit too high, because the hair there is kind of cast the shadow too, so we gotta But I'm making some judgment calls here. Okay, on some of this, like some of this might not be the most realistic in terms of the way that it would be lit, but as long as it looks cool, right? As long as it looks cool. That's how I look at it, you know? Yeah, I'm self-taught on piano, and yeah, learning instruments are tough. Have a fun stream, no problem. Yeah, you go make that music. Just remember though, some zombies are auditory. They detect by sound, so you want to avoid you want to put headphones on, and you want to avoid letting them know where you are by playing your music too loud. Okay. I'm just looking out for everybody's safety in these times of in these troubled times of zombie apocalypse. Okay. You don't have to go full Walking Dead and 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 go into full survival mode, but you know, like if you're lucky enough and you got a safe place to be, you know, just just stick with it until you start running out of rations and stuff like that. Then you gotta go and scour for more, right? Don't worry, I got headphones. They won't know. Oh, okay, great. You know, safety first, especially when you're dealing with the undead, right? It really depends on the type of zombie, right? Like, it's not always gonna be the same type of zombie. Like sometimes you got the summoned ones, right? Like, or like the biological ones, right? Like those are the most prevalent. I feel like the biological ones, but they're like you know made from like a zombie toxin or some other like industrial accident. Those are the ones that seem to be here the most, right? Like Train to Busan, for example. That's a one thing. Return of the Living Dead, like I mentioned earlier. You know, those are the other types that are like um because of a industrial accident. You don't want to run into those. You never know how those react, right? But then what else? Like there's some kind there's like sometimes mystical ones, right? Like the type that you see from like what is it called? Uh oh, what was that movie series called? I personally like I will fully admit as many horror movies as I have watched, I have not seen the ones with um Army of Darkness, that series, right? Like you know the Evil Dead stuff, right? I haven't actually seen too many of those movies. Like I've seen parts of Army of Darkness, but the original Evil Dead I don't think I saw too much of, and certainly did not see the TV series that came out for that. But yeah, they got them summoned zombies, you know, with Bruce Campbell. Yeah, with Bruce Campbell and stuff. For years, I keep hearing that they want to do more with that IP. You know, they want to do more like movies and shows and things like that with it. I mean, they even have a recent like a fairly recent Marvel Zombies run where it kind of explains that you know the Marvel Zombies was actually like like Ash was actually there for some of the Marvel Zombie stuff, and you know like he makes it through. Um, well, I shouldn't spoil it. I mean, as you know, you guys might want to read that comic series yourself, so shouldn't spoil it. It's fun stuff though, fun stuff. But yeah, like recently I've been doing a lot more horror movie like stuff. Well, watching more horror and not necessarily the movies themselves, but more like seeing a lot of the videos and essays and stuff like that people have put out and stuff. I I am kind of like into the genre like crazy, even though I don't really watch all that many horror movies these days, admittedly. At least not compared to um like like a couple even a couple of years ago. I used to watch the hell out of horror movies. Um and it's just like there's just like a fascination with it, right? So, you know, um Halloween has always been a pretty cool time of year for that stuff. So you know, like you kind of get into the mood. You kind of get into the mood when it comes to that stuff, you know? But there's a couple of series that like, you know, kind of disappeared after a while, like in terms of horror movies. They've kind of disappeared, and like I do wish they would come back. Some of them would come back, right? Like um but it's like a totally different era. Like you can't have horror movies like you used to have. This is old man yells at cloud moment for Bard, okay? But you can't have movies like that in that way anymore. I feel like they would never be able to do like certain movies today that they made well back in the day and stuff like that. It's not like I like all horror movies, by the way. There are certain horror movies that just like, oh man, that's so gross. Like like as much as I think it's like kind of a masterpiece of a movie, David Cronenberg's version of The Fly from the late 80s and stuff like that, his they call it a remake, but I don't think of it as a remake. It's like its own thing. That movie is like an amazing movie. Also, don't ever want to see it again. Oh, nice. Watch streak. Nice, nice. I noticed that there was that thing for the watch streaks recently when I'm on I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, like, you know, like letting people know, you know, about the watch streaks. That's pretty cool, you know. Always in favor of fun little improvements to the experience. But yeah, yeah, like David Cronenberg's version of The Fly. I do not want to see that movie ever again. I got it to finally work. Oh, nice, nice. You know? But yeah, like if you've never seen his version of The Fly, if you are a horror movie buff, I would say definitely that should be on your list of stuff that you need to watch. But also be prepared. It is very holy crud. Is it like it's one of those movies that the when you see it the first time you see it, that's it. That's all you need. Unless you're like, I don't want to say desensitized or anything like that, because you know, like there's a lot of things you can be desensitized to, and I know that there's people who don't care about like the body horror type stuff, right? Like you guys will watch anything, right? Like, you know, some people will be able to watch just about anything, right? But yeah, with Jeff Goldblum, yes, that movie, holy crap, man. I was little when I watched that movie. It never left me. It left me traumatized. It left me completely traumatized. This bard is like shit. What did I see? What did I see? The first time that shit was and it's crazy too, because I don't believe I saw that movie in the theaters. I actually think I saw like a very edited down version that was like on TV or something like that. And it was still too much. It was still way too much. Holy crap, man. That movie. But again, you know, like it's not like I think it's a horrible movie, right? Because it's like ultimately like that movie is like a masterpiece in storytelling, right? Like that's the crazy part about that movie, right? Like as much as I was grossed out by that movie, I can't say that it was a bad movie. Like it did what it needed to do, and it told like a very compelling story. So, you know, if you like again, if you're a horror movie fan and you never saw that movie, well, you need to put that one on the docket, right? Like you need to see it. Child's Play messing me up. Oh, Child's Play. Yeah, yeah. Um, that movie, I remember the part on the stairs that freaked me out like crazy with that movie. When I forgot which character was coming down the stairs. I haven't seen it since. Um, but yeah, like That movie messed me up too. We had a lot of messed up movies in those days, didn't we? Like Child's Play. I know they recently did like a remake, so I've seen the remake. I don't remember too much about it, but I do recall seeing the remake, and I also believe that there was like a TV series or something like that. And I only know about the TV series version because they made a lot of jokes about Megan, and I recently watched that movie too, Megan 2.0. Um, so it's like like I actually became aware of oh, actually no, not like that. I actually became aware of that movie, the movie series, I should say, as of recent. But who would win in a fight, right? Because like, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the setup, right? Like is Chucky is a doll possessed by the spirit of like a criminal lunatic, right? And he uses that to go after people and stuff like that. Like he uses that to his benefit, and he allows that to allow him to commit the moidals, right? The murders, right? And it's like he's kind of supernatural in that he always come back. He always comes back and stuff like that because of that, right? But like Mithrigan, Mithrigan, she's just like a robot AI, but she's also in a sense immortal. Like as long as she has a backup of herself somewhere on the internet, she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back, and she's gonna make her body better and betterer than it was previously. I wonder who would actually win in a fight though, because there's a case to be made that like for either one winning a fight, right? But even though one of them is actually a robot and the other one isn't, but you never know. Like maybe Chucky gets smart and comes back next time as a robot. I don't know. It could happen. You never know. Okay, let's see. I gotta figure out. Okay, where is the light? So that's what I did for the lighting originally, right? Oh, it was a whole lot more. Whoops. That was the wrong layer. Okay. But yeah, like there's a lot of other like horror movies that are out there, like that I just remember them so vividly because there was like a time when that was like the thing for me, right? Like I was just kind of watching them so much, and especially with friends and stuff like that were also into watching horror movies. Jeez, man. Like I'm surprised that like we didn't all come out like super messed up in some way, shape, or form. Though maybe there's an argument to be made that we did in fact come out super messed up because of that, you know? But yeah, it's like I think there was a time too when I was like super into like zombie movies, right? Number one, like there was a time I'm still kind of like really into that genre. I mean, like, you know, that genre kind of never leaves, right? It's the one that continues to exist even today, right? So like zombie movies are number one, right? Like they're a genre. And then there was like the found footage movies, right? Like there was a time when I was watching so many of them. I will fully admit, right? A part of that was you know, like I did like watching what was it? Blair Witch. That was like one of the first ones that was like, it wasn't the first found footage movie. Just to be clear, it wasn't the first found footage movie, but it was one of the first ones that like was um it kind of made you think and like whoa, like this is a little much, right? Like it was one of the first ones that kind of made you think, right? And I mean, clearly it wasn't gonna be like a real found footage. Like there's no way in heck they would allow that to be put into a movie theater if that was real. Like if that was real, that would have been like a true crime video on some YouTube channel. I swear. Like they would not allow anybody to put like footage like that in a movie theater. I think they could get away with it back in the day. Like I know there was a movie called Cannibal Holocaust that purported to be real. It clearly wasn't. But you know, like they put that one into grindhouse theaters and stuff like that, right? And it was like it was kind of a thing. This was from before my time too. It was not like I was around for this, but supposedly I think what I heard was like the producers of the movie had to they went to they were like told to come to court and stuff like that, right? And they needed to bring the actors with them. Because the thing is, like, some people thought it was real. And so they were like, they had to go to a courtroom and go, hey, look, see, they're still alive. They had to do that in order to like, you know, not go to jail for the rest of their lives for filming, you know, for the filming of certain individuals being like horrible things happening to said individuals, right? So it was like, you know, like I'm pretty certain that like, you know, any found footage movie that purports to be like real or based on a true story or whatever is likely not. Likely not. Likely story, but no. And then there was but yeah, after Blair Witch came out, I remember there was a lot of those things. Like what was the next really big one that a lot of people like Paranormal Activity. I think that was the next like found footage movie that like a lot of people gravitated towards. Paranormal Activity was like a big one. It was like a haunting movie. Like it had a lot of ghosts and spirits type of stuff, right? Though that series went off the rails. I gotta say that I actually really liked where it was going at first, like the first one, and then like the second one was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. There's a second movie. But then like it kept going, and then it got more ridiculous and more ridiculous to the point where it was just kind of like, I don't think I like this anymore. Because at I think it was like the third or the fourth one where they started revealing stuff, and the reveals were just kind of like, nah. That's kind of stupid. And it was like, it was really stretching at some point. So, still, you know, if you're a fan of the found footage genre, still fun. Still fun. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to be very careful about where the lighting is on this because it should only be peeking through at the rims of each area and stuff like that, just barely, right? Because most of this is actually in shadow and stuff like that. So but yeah, there was like a ton of like sci-fi movies and horror movies that kind of blended in together too in those days, right? Like sometimes like sci-fi couldn't decide if it was like sci-fi or horror, or maybe it was like both and stuff like that. Like I remember like that happened quite a bit with certain movies. Like there's an argument to be made about like certain things, right? Like the first Alien movie, for example, that was clearly a horror movie, right? But then the second one Aliens, plural, right? That is definitely more of a sci-fi action movie, right? And then the same thing with like Predator, right? Like Predator, the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? As the protagonist Dutch, right? Like it is in fact a um hold on, I'm trying to think. There we go. Okay, it is like a sci-fi action movie, right? But there's a lot of elements of it that's kind of a horror movie in a lot of ways, right? So it's like, which categorization should it go under, right? Um, does it even matter, right? Like that's another thing. Does it even matter what categories, right? Like that movies are under? I think not ultimately, but you know, sometimes people like having things categorized neatly, right? Okay. Whoops. That is way too big. Okay. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think that like I kind of want to I'm still waiting for the next like big like horror movie thing to come out. It's like I feel like it's been a minute since something like really good has come out. Like I think that's why a lot of people were disappointed in Megan 2.0 because the first movie was like straight up a horror movie and it did pretty well in the box office and stuff like that, right? Like at least for a horror movie, I think, right? Like a lot of people liked it. I liked it for what it was going for. It was actually pretty creepy and stuff like that, right? And like it was actually really good, and then they made part 2, and then part 2 went the way of same thing. Like part 2 was like went from not being a horror movie to being a super action movie. Like again, the aforementioned Alien and Aliens, and then there's like what else did that there was quite a few movies that kind of did that. They started as like horror movie, and then the sequel became like action movie. Terminator, like the first Terminator movie, I think a lot of people believe that it's a horror movie, right? Like you're being chased by like this unkillable dude and stuff like that. He's like out for you, and then like turns out, oh crap, it's a robot from the future. And you know that first movie was like really good, and then they made a second movie, and they completely went away from, okay, this is scary, to this is like action movie, one liners, all that stuff. Like they completely went away from the horror movie element of the first movie with that one. Aliens, like I mentioned. Um, even even something like Friday the 13th. I don't know if you guys noticed this about Friday the 13th. Okay, so Friday the 13th is that series with Freddy Krueger, right? Like killer demonic spirit guy preys on the young for in their dreams and stuff like that, right? Like um the first movie was like a horror movie, but surprisingly very few people actually get moidled in the first movie, right? Like um you wouldn't expect that from from a horror movie, like seriously. Like, but there's not that many unalivings, as it were, in that first movie, right? And then like the second movie um goes in a slightly different direction. I remember when I first saw the second movie, I think I saw it on TV, so it was edited down quite a bit. I don't think I saw like a true version of the second movie, but I remember it being really creepy and really weird, especially that part. There's like parts towards the end where, oh no, they were hinting at the fact that there was like a base of operations for Freddy in that entire movie and stuff like that. And then there was like what was it, like an old factory or a power plant or whatever it was towards the end of that movie, and they like, you know, like they were hinting at that the whole time, and that place freaked me out. That place really freaked me out in that movie, right? But the movie definitely changed, and then they made part three. Part three was like, what was it? What was it called? The Dream Warriors. I don't know what happened there, but it just went off the rails starting with part three. I think, like, suddenly this guy that's supposed to be creepy Moidua, right? He's like this creepy, like, demon guy is suddenly joking and zinging his victims and tossing one-liners and calling people like he started getting like really cartoonish, like an evil Bugs Bunny. like it started getting really weird with him with Freddy in part 3 and stuff like that. I think that was like the one where he just kind of goes off the rails, and that everybody was just kind of like, he was silly as all heck. He was making puns as he was like attacking the Dream Warriors. the supposedly like the theme of that movie was something like he was getting more powerful because he was sucking the souls of the people he would kill in their dreams, right? And like what was it, like they would like go and get stuck in his stomach or something like that, like you would see their faces on him and stuff like that, like every time he kills like one of them, right? And it's like he would get more and more powerful and stuff like that, right? So I think they had to stop him by entering the dream and fighting him on his turf and stuff like that. It was just like that was like the point of the movie, right? And it was like, it was kind of a clever idea in a lot of ways, because when you really think about it, it's like, oh, now the people are fighting back against this guy, right? But it's like, it's also kind of like, ooh, they're fighting back against him, but they don't really stand a chance, do they? Like, that was the thing about that movie, huh? Like, I actually don't remember part 3 all that much. I do remember the ending, and I was like sad about the ending, but I won't spoil the end. Well, I mean, it's such an old movie, geez. But you know, like the ending, was not my favorite, but I think it had to happen, right? Like that way, because it's just like one of those things where it's like, you know, certain characters should not be like, it's like Sigourney Weaver in the Alien series. She's always kind of wanted to have Ripley just kind of end it in one of the movies. She finally got her wish in one of them, and it's because it's like, how much more can you torment this poor lady? She was literally just like a space trucker trying to get home, and they tell her to stop with her team to go on a planet to dig up something. They don't even know what it is, and then one of them gets infected with an alien, and then, like, you know, like they gotta deal with that and stuff like that. It's like, how much can one person go through? How much, right? So it's like, you know, like in hindsight, as much as I didn't like the ending of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, it kind of had to happen. Just because, like, I don't think that the characters would want to go through this ever again. You know, after everything they've gone through with this stuff. And then what else? Like, oh, hold on. What the hell? Okay. Oops. I should zoom in a little bit more with this, maybe, possibly, so I can kind of see a little bit better. Yeah, I'm just kind of taking my time to build out where the light is actually hitting her. from there. So it almost acts like a rim light in a lot of ways, right? So build out the lighting situation, and then after I build out the lighting situation, that will tell me where the cast shadows are gonna be, and then I will go in with the airbrush and start defining all the volumes here on the character, and that's kind of how I'm gonna approach this one. So this is like the process that's easier for me. I know some artists choose to do it a different way, but this is the way that I find it easier. You don't have to do it this way though. You can do it whichever way makes you happy and allows you to do the thing that you want to do. But yeah, I have sometimes like in those days, like there was, like horror movies, like um, they could be sci-fi, but then like if they were a sci-fi movie, I felt like it didn't take them long to turn them away from sci-fi and just to go full on like I mean not sci-fi, like away from horror and just go on full on like, you know, action movie, right? Question, is Crunchyroll worth it? Oh man, that's a hard... Okay, actually, hold on guys. I'm gonna start playing my playlist here. I think that you guys can't hear my playlist, which is fine. Unfortunately, I can't let you guys hear my playlist now. Has to do with how things are set up, and red square with white triangle will not like it. But it's not my playlist, right? Like you can hear music, but it's not my playlist, right? But okay, to answer your question, by the way, is Crunchyroll worth it? I will say this. It depends on... It definitely depends on how you feel about certain things. Okay, I will say that much, right? Because here's the thing with Crunchyroll. It's like... They have, like, a lot of anime. And I would say that... Oh yeah, you know, like, if you want to support anime and all that stuff, and, you know, you want a legal way to watch stuff, right? Not that I am saying not to do things illegally. Please don't misconstrue that, okay? I'm not saying do things illegally. But what I'm saying is that, like, some people think that maybe Crunchyroll has certain values on certain things that they don't agree with. This is not a political thing. This is more like, okay, how they treat certain things, right? Like in terms of voice acting and whatnot, right? So like, if you agree with it or you don't really care all that much, and you know, like, quite frankly, not everybody cares all that much about that sort of thing, right? Then, you know, like, I think they have enough stuff on their service where I would say, yeah, you know, like, I think, you know, when I was in Bounty Hunterville, I saw that they still had Shin Godzilla on there, right? And it was like, oh shoot, that's kind of cool, you know, like, we don't have a streamable version of Shin Godzilla unless you purchased it and stuff like that, right? But for me, that was really cool, right? So like, again, you know, it really depends on your outlook on the type of stuff that they do. What do I absolutely hate about Crunchyroll sometimes? Like, for example, their gaming division. I hate their gaming division, man. Like, I'm sorry Crunchyroll. I have to say it. I do hate your gaming division. Because, like, they came out with, like, okay, like, Princess Connect, right? Like, they came out with the English version of Princess Connect, and then they just kind of like abandoned it, and now it's offline, right? And you can't force a company to keep something that's online that's like losing the money, right? Like like that's not fair to a company. But they kind of did that with a lot of games where they just kind of jumped on a game that they thought was popular. They seemed to release the game, not really care about whether or not it was gonna um go up or down or whatever, and then they just let it kind of die in a month or two, and then that's it. They would just kind of close the server. I absolutely hated that because there were a lot of games that they did that with and stuff, and it gave it almost like the feeling that they were doing it a little bit on purpose. Like I'm not gonna say that they were, right? Like I'll never say that they were, but it almost felt like sometimes like, hey, are you guys like really, do you guys really like care about this game, or did you just want the bump of people paying for stuff on the game when it first releases, and then you just like whatever at the end, right? Like, just who cares? Like that's what it kind of started feeling like after a while. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, and like that wasn't very good. That wasn't very good. So like, again, it really depends on what you kind of believe in. Oh, that did not work the way that I thought it was gonna work. I just saw that happen to the Funimation subscribers. Yeah, the Funimation thing, because now they merged with Funimation, right? So it's like, like they were supposed to give all the stuff that Funimation had, like the subscribers to Funimation anyway. Like they were supposed to give all that stuff that they had, like the extras and and the access to certain things that came with certain videos on Funimation and stuff like that. They were supposed to give that access to the migrated users from Funimation, and I think they didn't. Is that what happened? I could be wrong about that. I don't want to misspeak here on that regard, but I think that's kind of what happened. They purchased material. Okay, I gotta work around my mic because I have my mic positioned in one of the worst ways possible. So I have my art tablet on an arm that's attached to the table, and then I have my mic stand and my mic on another arm, but it's over it comes over the top of my art tablet. And I thought this was a smart thing to do. I thought like, hey, that means like when I'm talking to you guys, I'm still facing the mic and stuff like that, right? So like this it seems like a very smart thing. Bart is like amazing at thinking about these things, right? Hell no, it was the wrong idea. It was the wrong idea because now I keep bumping into my freaking mic with my pen. My pen keeps bumping it, and I can't tell if you guys can hear it or not. I should probably find a different setup for this. I really should, probably. I don't think honored it. Yeah. I think it was something like that, right? Like they said that they were gonna allow everybody to have access to all their stuff from the Funimation merger, and then it ended up being like, no, actually, no, we're not gonna care. I think that's what it was, right? So again, like I would say I won't say that it's not worth it because they have a lot of stuff in their catalog, but also it depends on where you are in terms of what you believe in, right? If you think they're kind of a shitty company because of the stuff that they do and stuff like that, but then by all means don't subscribe, right? But you know, if that stuff doesn't bother you that much, don't feel guilty. I mean, you know, you like what you like, right? You know? And I'll say that for anything, right? Like I feel like, you know, I don't necessarily agree with everything that a company does. But I'm not gonna go after people like that are like, hey, you know, like if you're okay with it, you know, you're okay with it, you know? It's not my business, right? There's no real alternative. There really isn't, right? That is a major problem for anime stuff. There is no real alternative to the crunchy service. Though it is the internet, so I'm not gonna say that there is no alternative, but I cannot. I will say that I cannot mention said things, right? Like, Hulu has limited seasons on certain shows. I think also there's another one that, well, there was another a company called High Dive, right? That they were kind of okay for a while, but then I think they lost a couple of big shows, and now it looks like they're not gonna be that competitive anymore because of that. I think it was High Dive, right? And you know, this is relevant to the horror movie talk that I was having before. Aren't you guys think of like crap? Like I gotta subscribe to like how many different services just to watch anything these days? Yeah, have you guys ever noticed that? Holy crap! The amount of services that you have to be subscribed to just to watch the three things you want to watch. Jeez. Like when the hell did that happen? How did we go from cord cutting to going back to paying like maybe even more than beat the previously like previous to the cord cutting era, right? Like shit. Like what was it? What was it? The most yeah, I'm trying to cut some subscriptions. You it depends on what you like, right? So like even for okay, like sports fans, this is recent. Because like the NBA for example, if you guys watch basketball, then you know this, right? But like recently they made a deal to broadcast for broadcasting rights for the NBA, right? Like so it's like, "Oh, great. It's going to be on like NBC, right?" And it's like well, yes and no. NBC is gonna have the NBA, but so is ABC and ESPN. And also, by the way, like what was it? What was it like Amazon Prime or something like that? Like you have to have like three or four different services. Oh, and if you want all the home games, they're not all gonna be on the thing. So you might even have to get like an app like for a specific like service, right? So some teams have started their own apps that you can subscribe to watch home games and stuff like that, right? So you got no less than like three or four different subscriptions just to follow your one team. Imagine you only care about one team. You don't even give a crap about any of the other teams out there. You still need three or four different subscriptions to get everything. It's so crazy. The region BS. Yeah, yeah. And I can imagine that's happening with a lot of different sports too and stuff like that. So it's like I don't think the NBA is the only league that's happening to. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that you have to subscribe to all that just to follow your one thing. The one thing you wanna follow. I know this is like Bard old man yells at cloud, but still, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. We literally just got out of having to do all the subscriptions for stuff like that, and now we're back in it. We're back in it. But yeah, like, is Crunchyroll worth it? Again, you know, depends on how you feel about that sort of thing, right? Like, I would say from a purely content related perspective, if you are an anime fan and you are not going to sussy sites, right? Um, you know, I would have to agree that yeah, like they have the most stuff and they seem pretty much worth it because they have the most stuff, right? That's from the perspective of somebody who like is like, I'm not gonna do anything shady, right? But from the perspective of others, like when you look at it from like the perspective of, well, I kind of hate their company, like for whatever reason, right? Then I would say, well, don't force yourself to feel like you have to subscribe, right? For me, I watch so much less anime these days that it's not really worth it for me, but I still watch some stuff, so I do have my own subscription. Um Now you guys know Bard has a subscription to the role, but whether or not I need it is another story, right? Because again, I don't really watch all that much anime these days, like as compared to um before. You're angry because the streaming services were supposed to fix this problem. They were alright. The MLB is doing that? Yeah, yeah. I imagine, right? Like, and yeah, you're right, the streaming services were supposed to be the ones that fixed this problem, like, all those years ago, and, we're right back in it. It's kind of crazy how we're just kind of right back where we started. Okay, I need to check something out really quick. Um... Uh... Give me a second. Okay. Alright. Alright, that's working out for me. Okay, great. Great. But yeah, like, it is what it is. By the way, how many of you guys are going to round one to pick up your what was it? The Ado? Ado? Is that the is that the Ado? Yeah, yeah. So they're having a collaboration where if you buy food and stuff, you get like a coaster or something like that for Ado. I think that they are a J-pop star of some sort, singer. I don't know. I'm not familiar, though. I have family who is familiar with Ado. I might have to stop by. I might have to stop by for the silliest thing in the world. For the silliest reason in the world. Hey, look, sometimes you just gotta go for the... You gotta go for the collabs, okay? Like, if you're not gonna go for anything else, you gotta go for the collabs. Actually, I was surprised. I actually was at a Freedom Land Round 1 recently. One that was located in the East Coast area and stuff like that. And I was very surprised because they had some Hololive plushies there. I got myself a Sakura Miko, right? Is it Sakura Miko? Yeah. Lying down plush from that visit. It was kind of a surprise to me because like when me and Mooney saw the Hololive merch for at round 1, we were in Japan. So I did not expect to see Hololive merch in the West and stuff like that. I know we recently had the collab with like with Hololive that had like Fuamoko and all of them, and they had some plushies there, right? But like I thought that was like a one-time thing, but as it turns out, some of the round ones over here are carrying Hololive plushes, so that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat, you know. If you guys are into the puppet, the hand puppet ones, and the lying down character plushies, you might be able to find some at around 1 if you happen to be near around 1. Now the only thing is that I would need to find the time to actually go to one, because you know, when Bart is not against going places by himself. You know, I'll go to a place by myself, but I just need the time. I just need the time because Bart also has a day job. Unfortunately, I can't just freely go. Okay, that's starting to turn out pretty well. I need to get the stuff in her hair and on the hood. Let me do the hood first. Okay. How's that? How's that, guys? Sorry, my well, I bumped into my mic and I guess it turned it off. Like, hopefully you guys can hear me now. Was it this quiet this entire time? You guys couldn't hear me? Okay, okay. You can hear my commentary. Well, actually, I didn't have much to say. I was just like talking to myself about how I was gonna do this. Oh wow, about 30 minutes. Holy crap. Oops. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I gotta move my mic. I like, I keep bumping into it and then things like that happen where I guess it accidentally pulls the wire on it and then it shuts it off. And then it's like you guys can't hear me, which kind of sucks, like. Yeah, the darker that I make the shadows here, the more I have to brighten up the lighting that I did. That's okay. Here, let me hit save now. Actually, it's almost time. It's almost time. I don't have too much time to work on the arting every night, so when I stream, it's like literally the amount of time that I have to work on the arting, right? So, like I think this is about as far as we can go for tonight, but like we did accomplish a lot in terms of selecting the lighting on Spider Gwen herself, right? And we started doing some of the shading for the skin and the hair. Um Once we're done with doing all that for Spider Gwen herself, we'll move on to the webbing and then the other two spider peoples there. And the background itself, like, after I do the Doc Ock arms, right? The background itself is probably gonna be like a project and a half to finish, right? Because I gotta actually add windows and detailing to the buildings, right? And then on top of that, I gotta draw like little characters on top of the buildings, right? Because like I kind of decided, okay, I'm gonna put Penny up somewhere up there. I'm probably gonna put Peter Porker, Spider Ham somewhere. Maybe he fell off the building. Maybe Spider Punk. I don't know. 2099. I don't know. I might add some characters to the standing on top of the buildings, I should say, plural, because like again, originally this wasn't supposed to be like a Spider-Verse type image. It really wasn't supposed to be, but the more that I get into doing this, the more it's like becoming a Spider-Verse image. That's the unfortunate part about this. Which actually is, I shouldn't say it's the unfortunate part. It's not really unfortunate, right? It could, that's just the direction that this is going in. So, we'll see. We'll see. Um I would say at this point, thanks again guys for like, hanging out with me during the time we're kind of working on this. I'll be back tomorrow to continue working on this artwork and stuff like that. But for the time being, if you guys want to stick around, do we? Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. There it is. Good night indeed. Good night. Let's see. I mean, should we raid tonight? It's been pretty quiet tonight, so I don't know if we should raid tonight, like if there's a reason for that, you know. Um yeah, it's pretty quiet. And I see some people on, but then I don't see um specifically the arting peeps that I would normally pay a visit to are not really here. Yeah, you know what? Let's just call it a night. We did enough. We did enough for today. It's all good. It's all good. We did enough for today. I will be back tomorrow. We're gonna continue working on this artwork. Hopefully, you know, we'll get it to a point where I can finish it during the weekend, and we'll move on to our next project pretty soon. You know, like, but yeah, like it's coming along. It's coming along. You know, like, um, the vision that I had for it is definitely starting to you know, like kind of exist. Let's just say. But yeah, thanks again guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, all right, good night everybody.